All
Okay,
right,
but we can only do a little. We can only do a little. Oh, do you want to do the intro?
Sure.
Do you know how?
No, you can do it. You're a seasoned veteran.
I don't actually remember how it goes. No, I know. I'm used to Logan doing it. Well, if you're just tuning in, because that's the start of the show. So, hey, if you guys are just tuning in, this is your boy Mitchell, and today it's Mitchell, your boy, with Sarah, your girl. Y'all remember Sarah? Say hi, Sarah.
Hi, people. We are momentarily hijacking the podcast.
Yes. Milk and Toast podcast has been hijacked by me and Sarah right now. So y'all know how it goes. If you like the show, share the show, tell people about the show. And if you don't like the show, share the show. Send it to your enemies. You know what I'm saying? Send it to everybody and be like, yeah, I hate this show. Either way, share the shit.
All press is good press.
Yeah, exactly. All press is good press. But yeah, that's the intro to the show. And what we wanted to start with today was sexual attraction and friendship.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my topic, sir. And the reason me and Logan even got on it, I don't remember what the conversation was about, but we disagreed in terms of the subject. Because I was like, yo, listen, you could still be sexually attracted to your friends. You just it's probably best you don't go around sleeping with them. And then Logan was like, no, they can't be your friend. And I was like, oh, wait. So
that's funny for him to say.
I don't want to. Anyway, I wasn't calling him on his bullshit yet. I was just like, all right. So if you have friends that are pretty, you're not going to think they're pretty in one sense. You know what I mean? Here's
my thoughts on that. Like when I just read the topic, I think that for women in this scenario, it's a very slippery slope, because I feel like the rhetoric is always about like how much it sucks to be the guy in the scenario and to be rejected and put into the friend zone, and how much that sucks. But I can tell you that it feels like it sucks a whole lot more when you feel like you are constantly sexualized by your friends and you cannot have a friendship without that, coming into play. So that really sucks. As much as it sucks to be friend zone, it sucks to constantly have to friend zone people and feel
it doesn't suck to be friend zone
and feel like people are only friends with you because of the way you look or because they're attracted to you. Right. So that's what I wanted to say when I saw that topic. And I was like, I don't know if they're going to say that because, they have dicks and that plays a role in your personality and your thoughts. So,
which is true. But no, that wasn't, to me, I feel like that's an entire discussion of its own in one right, to be honest with you, because that is true. And I know what that's like. I've been guilty of that myself, and then had to learn that the friend zone doesn't exist. It's just about honesty. The fact is, if that's what I want, that's what I want, but I shouldn't be misleading you or taking advantage of you in some capacity. But what I've learned as I've grown older is to like manage. The fact is, some people just aren't into you. Yeah. And you have to accept that. And if you do genuinely like the person.
Or some people value their friendship with you over any like small inkling of sexual attraction.
Well, yeah, because that's just a real friendship.
Yeah. If you think about it, like the majority of relationships don't work out. And the majority of people don't have
when you say relationship, do you mean romantic or do you just any? Okay.
No, I mean romantic. And the majority of people don't have the maturity or communication skills to get past that and continue with their friendship. It does happen, but it's messy and difficult and sticky and can, like tar that relationship for the long run. And a lot of people value that friendship over getting into that, So I don't know. My thoughts are like, you have to really think about it and try not to be selfish. Like if you have this friendship and you are like mildly attracted to this person and you want to sleep with them or whatever it is, then it's probably not worth it. If you've been friends with them for a really long time, you have really strong feelings, and it's not just sexual attraction, but like, something closer to love or intimacy.
No, yeah, I get that. And also a different conversation to me, but
and that's really powerful. Then I do think it's fair to have that conversation and take that risk, because it might be for something really good, but also going into that conversation knowing that if this person friend zones me or says no, that is an outcome that I'll respect, and will work on. If you go in, I feel like a lot of people go in and they're like so upset if they're friend zone, and then that changes the relationship anyway. It's like one of my greatest fears, like having a guy friend that'll happen, because it almost always ruins the relationship.
No, I get that. But first things first, the friend zone isn't real. Friend zone doesn't exist. And the fact is,
what do you mean by that?
The friend zone isn't, because what we say when someone's like, oh, she friend zoned me. And it's mostly with guys. It does happen with girls, but we don't really speak to that. We can speak to that in a second. But we usually, when a guy's like, oh, she friend zoned me, what he's saying is she set her boundaries and was honest with me, and I got hurt about it. Friend zone doesn't exist. The fact is, either you want to be friends with this woman or you don't.
Okay. I can agree with that.
It's not real. And I had to, funny enough, I learned that through a video.
Oh, because I understand. Because the friend zone means that you are stuck in this place and you're trying to get to the next place.
That's just not true. The fact is, if you're not receiving something that you want, you have options. You can either deal with it, which is your choice, or you move on, which is also your choice.
Yeah.
And if you can't be mad because you're, and no, I have to tell you that, I have to say that especially for the men out there, because it is a toxic thing we do. And I had to learn that the hard way myself. And
it's also just like, a lot of entitlement, like to think that you deserve this.
You're owed something and you're not. Fact of the matter is, it doesn't matter how much, matter how much you wanted it, how much you like her, how attracted you are. If she's like, yo, I'm not into you like that. And me and Logan talked about that before too. If she's not into you like that, sorry, you have to deal with it. Now, do you still want to actually be friends, or is that not what you're really wanting? And that's what it really comes down to.
That's what the hurtful part is, because a lot of time the answer is no.
It'd be like that. Yeah, it'd be like that, for real. So, I just, like I told you, it was like, I should be honest.
And I do doubt that. I'm like, is this person really friends with me because of me, or are they just attracted to me?
And that is a bigger issue. No, that is a bigger issue we deal with between us as men and women.
I trust my friendships with women way more.
What about if they're sexually attracted to you, or you just think they don't care, like it never affects anything?
Women?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it doesn't affect anything, because I have a lot of friends who are gay or queer, and there's been a lot of drama because of people getting in and out of relationships.
Be like, Sarah, why won't you give it up?
Not for me personally.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
Well, because I have a pretty strong rule of like not dating within my
like friend circles.
Not even just friend circles, but for me, this core friend group happened in college. We were all in the dance program. We saw each other every single day, no matter what. And I'm like, I just do not need that drama in my life. Like, I don't care. I'm not gonna date anyone who's here, just for my own sanity.
I get that.
But there was a lot of drama that happened, and I don't think that like it's only exclusive to men that that can happen, like the friend thing and all of that.
Yeah, but that's absolute.
A lot of the time, there was more conversation afterwards. A lot of times they worked out how to work together, or to still be friends, or to not pin friend groups against each other. And no matter what, I never doubted the validity of those friendships beforehand. You know, like it never felt like they were friends for a really long time before they started dating. Whereas I feel like in my experience with guys, it's like, a couple months after. And it's just purely based on that kind of selfish attraction where it's like, oh, like I like this person and she talks to me and she smiles at me and she laughs at my jokes. So she must be attracted to me. Like,
She must
let's have
want the
sex.
D. Yeah.
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 I think that that's where it's different. Not that it can't happen.
Right.
But I don't fear that from women. I guess I just don't fear being objectified in that way.
In that sense, yeah. I mean, even with like, you know, friends, any of your like lesbian friends, you never feel as if they're just like, you know, kind of in this way that men are, you know what I mean?
I don't think that they're attracted to me anyways.
Oh, damn. What you calling yourself ugly right now? Because you're definitely not.
No, I'm not. I just, I think that, I don't know, sexuality is complex, and for those specific people, it's less about just physical attraction and more about certain chemistry like that.
Yeah,
and
no, that makes sense.
We definitely have a friendship chemistry. And for my part, even if those feelings ever did arise for me, for those friendships, I value the friendship more than I would ever like risk that kind of relationship. Not that I am attracted. I'm just saying that for me, in those circumstances, that's not a path I would want to go. I like to separate my
I get that, and I'm
that way.
I'm finding like you kind of like have to, because it's so the question though wasn't even like it wasn't. That's why I said it was like you brought up a lot of stuff. I was like those we could even talk, because for me when I brought up to Logan, it was like even more simple. It was just like, can you be friends with people you're sexually attracted to? He said no. And I said, yes, thank you. I said, yes. I was like, it's not a problem. You just have to be mature about it. I think it's not wrong
for you to be attracted to someone. Same. I think that the important thing is to remember that because you're attracted to them doesn't mean you're entitled to anything.
Exactly, Sarah. We are. I wish he was actually.
And like, sure, I think a lot of my friends are attractive.
Me too.
But they're my friends first.
No, right. And funny enough, I have some friendships where, you know, we had sexually interacted before, you know what I mean? And I had to navigate what friendship. Yes, you do. But you have to like navigate the friendship, and the fact that the friendship still works out is even more evidence to me. It's like
the friendship
you just have
itself.
to be mature. You have to be mature. You have to communicate. And once again, you can't feel entitled to anything, which is also why I said the friend zone doesn't exist.
Yeah, I agree with that perspective, the way you
No, it's not. It's not real. It's just we've all grown up so fucked up, and the relationship between men and women has been this relationship. And it's not even I'm entitled to her in some capacity.
It's not even on a friendship basis. It's like there's a sense of entitlement for men, no matter what. Like if I smile at them, or you know, if I make eye contact, it's so subtle. There's this like, oh, I can go approach this person now, and you know, say whatever I want. She acknowledged me, so I'm entitled to that. And I don't like that, because you know, I walk around with Logan, and he like, you know, waves at people and says hi and like, you know, good morning or whatever, and I don't feel safe doing that, because a lot of times if I do that, it invites a lot of other attention that I don't want in my life.
No, you're 100% right.
But I would love to just be able to, you know,
be yourself.
Yeah.
You know, just be treated like a normal individual, and that's what I think. Because
not someone who's like always on the cusp.
But no, and that is the where I'm at in my life.
It's just entitlement.
No, it is. Where I'm at in my life, Sarah, is how do I? Because where I'm at is like, all right, I want to be able to do my best to make the world a better place and everything. But one of the main points on that checklist is, how do I get us to a world where men truly understand they aren't entitled to women in any capacity, and women are people first?
Yeah, that's sad. The problem. It's sad that is.
I know how sad it is, so Sarah. Base. But it's the reality that I have to deal with.
I think it's funny because, you know, we learn about the civil rights movement and all of these different things, and we learn about them as in like that's the past, and we've made so much progress. But if you boil down the forces at bay for each one of these topics, whether it's, you know, race rights or whatever, it still boils down to the most basic thing, like how do we treat women not as objects, or
that's why it's so frustrating.
So it's like, literally. Everyone wants to say we've made so much progress, and in some ways, like, we have,
of course,
you know, we have laws that, you know, have certain protections, but in other ways, it is just as fragile and, you know, deplorable as it always has been. And that is a good segue into Roe v. Wade, because I think that is a huge setback in our rights.
Yeah, and, absolutely, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's what I learned on my birthday. That was my birthday present.
Oh, right. Shit, what a damn. I forgot. Yeah.
I saw it, and then I texted Logan, and he was like, I was hoping that you would be at the beach and you wouldn't be checking the news. So I'm like, you know who I'm with? Do you know who my father is? That man is glued to the news.
In a positive way or in a annoying, like, negative boomer way?
I think it's in a slightly negative way for him, like borderline obsessive, but he does know what is going on in the world.
Okay, no, that's true.
But anyways,
no, it's an atrocious, horrible setback.
It is
like deplorable.
I know it's like painful for everybody, but like the amount of sadness and fear that I felt, not just for myself, because like everyone's like, oh yeah, you're in New York, like you're fine, or, you know,
not the point.
But that's not the point. There are so many women who are going to be harmed by this. Mm-hmm. It's horrible.
No, talk about it, sir. Go ahead. Obviously, you wanted to. Yeah, you wasn't even supposed to. We were supposed to give it back to Logan, but go ahead and talk about it, sir. It's too late now. Oh no, we gotta talk about it now. Now you stuck.
I just felt the.
Oh yeah.
Sadness.
Oh yeah. And see, you said something. You were like, "It's painful for everybody," and I was like, "Nah, not everybody. It's super painful for women. We as men could, of course, be like, damn, but it doesn't affect us.
It does.
Well, it affects us if we're with someone we care about, but it doesn't directly hurt us. You know what I mean? Yeah,
not
and
as
it's like, how could that happen?
It's always the, you know, the most vulnerable who are going to be most affected by this, like the women who can't travel to another state, who can't afford that, or can't get the time off work. And I mean, that's illegal now anyways. So I don't even know how you can completely justify that. That's getting into the weird, like, you know, interracial marriage laws, where if you went to a state where it was legal to marry, you could still be prosecuted in the original state.
Back in
So
it's sickening,
gross.
disheartening.
Yeah. And they've talked about, you know, the fact that other rights like gay marriage and so on could also be...
They're in line. It's all in line.
And I don't know if that's true or if that's just like...
legally speaking.
But I get really frustrated by the argument that like, you know, this Roe v. Wade or that right wasn't in the original Constitution, but a lot of stuff wasn't in the original Constitution.
Yeah.
And that is kind of even if you look at the 10th Amendment, it says this is not a comprehensive list of rights. That's why there is the amendment process.
Yeah.
And the forefathers didn't think that, not that I love them, you know, they had their
weren't
shit.
Perfect. They weren't perfect.
Not by any means. I'm not trying to say that. But even they recognized the fact that this wasn't, you know, God's law, that this was a framework for to be amended and improved upon by each generation, so to speak. Even our Bill of Rights wasn't in the original Constitution.
No, exactly. Yes,
so
Bill of Rights was not in the original Constitution.
Stupid argument.
Yeah,
but I mean, I feel like because of the, you know, lack of information and education about even those core things in our country, you know, certain parties get away with saying all this random bullshit like, oh, it wasn't in our original Constitution, and people are like, oh yeah, it wasn't.
That makes sense.
That means nothing. They're taking it out of context.
Absolutely.
There's a ton of stuff that wasn't in our original Constitution that you know.
No, I mean,
it's just
13th, we could do this all day, but the fact is it's a shit argument. And I mean, here's my thing. Because one, it's horrible, and you know, people want to make it about the unborn babies that they don't care enough to take care of after. We'll get to that later. We'll get to that later. It's
pro-birth or pro-fetus, not pro-life. And everyone's talked about that. Like, you don't want to actually, you know, give money to, or, you know, raise your taxes in order to have
systems prosper better.
Or even just have paid maternity leave. Right. Or subsidized government childcare. Like, no, we don't actually care about the quality of the life after the child, after it's born. And yes, our foster care system is incredibly damaging. I would never, if that was an option for me, I would not want a kid to grow up in that.
No one wants to. It's just, how could you be so... My thing is people are trying to place, you know, the life of this unborn fetus over the body autonomy deserved by women. Here's my thing.
Over the life of the mother.
Right. Because my thing is, like, I also don't want to kill unborn. I would prefer you didn't do that, but that isn't my call to make.
Nobody is pro-abortion.
Exactly.
Nobody thinks that
you know what I mean?
Nobody thinks that... Go away, Logan.
Well, I am.
Stop.
No, I'm serious.
Okay, I don't want to talk to you. Very few people think that, oh, yes, it's so much fun to just kill all of these, you know, to make this choice. And every woman who I've talked to who has made that decision or had to weigh that decision has said it's one of the most difficult decisions that they had their life. I think what this side is doing is recognizing that it's not a black and white issue. Like, it's so much fun to just say, yes, we don't want to, like, kill any potential life. But that's not the way the world works. There are so many complicated situations that are going on. We can't, like, force women to have all... No. And if you, like, look at it even further, like, potential life, does that mean that, like, you know, you guys should stop masturbating because technically you're getting rid of valuable potential life?
You know,
should women be fined for menstruating? I think that in Catholicism, you're not supposed to like emit any of that sacred juice. That's a horrible way to say it. I'm really sorry. But no, but that's why it's like, that's why you're not supposed to masturbate.
Should we fact check? But no, I know that's the reason that it's supposed to be like, oh, because you're killing the potential for a child. But it's like, I can't do that anymore, me personally, because like we said, neither of us are pro-abortion at all. It's not about that. Like,
pro-choice.
Sorry.
But Logan said, he wrote on a little notebook, he said, if you want an abortion, you should be able to get an abortion. And I believe that that's true.
That is true.
And I had a very weird experience because I recently visited the Czech Republic, and I visited family there, and they live in, like, a small village, you know, and they're pretty conservative. And I always, like, felt this, you know, wariness around them. But we were talking with them, and they were like, oh my God, like, what is going on in your country? Like, why does everybody have guns? Like, all these kids keep getting shot, and, like, why are they trying to get rid of abortion? And I had to realize, oh my God, conservative in America is totally different than conservative somewhere else. Like, it's totally...
we get conservative and Republican smashed together, but they're not the same thing.
That's my own ignorance. But I had that moment where it's like, oh, okay, like, so this isn't just like a conservative value system. It's like whole different beast.
Yeah.
And most other countries recognize, like, even oh, Jesus Christ.
Speak to it.
I was like, abortion is even legal in fucking the Vatican State.
Wait, really?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure. You can fact check me.
No, we gotta fact check that. But like, Logan, fact check that. But
that abortion is legal in the Vatican State.
If it is, I'm gonna be so mad in a second, bro.
I'm pretty sure it is. I don't usually say things that...
No, I know you don't.
Are I think
you don't be trying to spread like misinformation. No, I believe that, and it wouldn't surprise me, to be honest. If I'm being real about it wouldn't surprise me at all. considering how much under fucking shit they do. Anyway, I don't want to get into that.
I think that it's hard, especially because I and, you know, women similar to my age are part of the few generations that this has been a right since we were born.
Right.
It's only 50 years old.
Right.
It hasn't been that long. And for it to be gone feels like a huge, huge step back. It's
of course
so disheartening in so many ways.
You're taking away rights of an entire margin of people. It doesn't like, and that's why I keep saying, like, I'm sorry, because, you know, this isn't about babies. It's about control. And it's disgusting. You don't have right to that control. There's no
criminal law against abortion in the Vatican State.
There's no criminal law against abortion in the Vatican State.
Oh man, aren't Republicans weird?
But they still praise the court decision on abortion.
Oh, do they?
Of course they do. Yeah, of course
so
they
do. So they still praise the court decision on abortion. Yes,
good. By the Holy Father, the Holy Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Well, okay, but still, it's just
no. That I mean, the irony is the hypocrisy.
And like the hypocrisy is even more entrenched because the same groups of people that are pro-life are also against any sort of comprehensive sexual education that could prevent. Yeah. And I heard that they're even talking about getting rid of like Plan B and other contraceptives. Plan B is not abortion. If there is a viable egg, like if an egg and a sperm have come together, then they will be safe. All it does is, you know, get rid of everything. It's not an abortion pill. It is not an abortion pill at all.
Right.
It just causes you to have an early period. But if there has already been, you know, an egg and sperm junction, then that is safe in that circumstance.
Oh wow, I didn't even know that.
Yes, it's not an abortive pill. It's not. And it's so frustrating. But anyways, yeah, they don't want to teach comprehensive sexual education, which is the best to avoid unwanted pregnancy. They don't want to teach safe sex.
Right. I'll be honest with you. You know, me and my brothers, we never had issues like that because our father from jump taught us sexually. He's like, this is what happens. Mm-hmm. Please be careful. It wasn't complicated. It wasn't extensive. But the fact that he told us that kept us from getting into trouble.
But that shouldn't be, you know, it should be standardized. And in the countries,
absolutely.
In the countries where it is standardized, there is a much lower percentage of unwanted pregnancy to begin with. Mm-hmm. You have to teach, like I grew up with abstinence-only education, right?
Right.
And
right.
I kind of protested the whole thing, sat in the back, didn't say anything because I was annoyed. I wish I had said something. I would do it now, but, you know, I wasn't as ballsy back then.
Yeah, no, I get you.
But the whole time I was thinking is that you literally told us the percentage of kids who are abstinent. I don't remember what that percentage is anymore. But basically, you're saying a big fuck you to the rest of the people who are choosing to have sex because you're not teaching us how to do that in a safe way. You're just apocalyptically talking about all of the venereal diseases that we might get. Yeah, it's incredibly frustrating. Logan also just showed me. Never mind. He's going back on it.
He's going back on it? What's he going back on?
He's scared, I think. You know?
What's he scared of? Since when are you
Logan
a coward?
Says, why do you think it's like that?
In terms of not teaching sex education?
Yeah.
Because of puritanical ideas that we no longer even fucking care about. That's the literal only reason. We're trying to maintain this fucking illusion. So hear me out. America's split into two sides. And I'm not talking like Republican and Democrat. We could actually talk about conservatism and progression or progressivism. Is that the word? I don't give a fuck. I'm tired. It's early. In any case, it's like one side is like, all right, we have to deal with the reality. And the other side is like, oh, we have an illusion to keep up, to maintain. So people look at us a certain way and think about us in a certain capacity.
But One of the tenets of our democracy is that church and state are separate.
Truth.
Church and state are separate.
Absolute truth.
So
absolute truth.
Our laws should not be
touched by any of that. I wish that was the case, except it's not. Because, religion has its effect. It's one of the oldest forms of you know what I mean? And that's literally the only reason. Don't get me wrong, I'm not happy about it, but that's just what naturally happens when something's around so long.
I don't think you're speaking from opinion. I know that you're
No.
speaking from
well,
the
thank
way
you for
things
understanding. Exactly. And so, but it's like what ends up happening is you get stuck with people trying to maintain these airs as if this is, how we actually are or how we want to be perceived. And it ends up fucking people in the ass because you don't actually give a fuck in the first place. I mean, those same people who voted to overturn Roe v. Wade are going to make sure their children in any capacity get abortions. You know what I mean?
It's not even like teenagers who are getting the most abortions. 2/3 of abortions in this country are married women.
Makes sense.
Because having a child is a huge, huge
responsibility,
economic toll, emotional toll, especially if you've already had a bunch of children. For women too, a lot of times we have to choose between children and career.
Right. Which is horrible in itself.
There's a lot of different undertones here. It's not just for, and I don't think this. I'm just saying it from the perspective of what I think a lot of pro-lifers think. It's not just go ahead. Reckless, wanton women who, don't care and just...
Right, but that is the narrative. That is entirely the narrative, but it's not like at all.
No.
You know what I mean? It's okay, Sarah. Keep going.
I don't want to keep going. I'm pretty upset now. Logan, do you want to take over?
Are you sure, Sarah? Because that was a good conversation. And
it was a good conversation.
I think you should speak more in terms, because it's you we want to hear from on the subject. Me and Logan want to bring it up because obviously as men we should speak on it and show the disdain.
I don't think I'm at this point contributing anything new to the conversation. I'm just speaking out of the anger and frustration that I know
Sarah,
lot of
that's entirely
feel.
Fine. Keep speaking out of the anger. People should hear it.
There's a ton of hypocrisy.
Of course.
It's a huge step back
of course.
In terms of women's rights. And I think just rights in general, because equality is good for everybody. It's not just good for
a select few.
Yes, equality is not about bringing other people down, although I think that a lot of groups in this country only feel good when other people are hurting.
When they feel they have some type of superiority. You do realize that was the whole basis of how you turned people kind of against each other. Because originally with slavery and, rural, South, when the origins of this country, 17, 1800s, the way you turned poor whites against poor blacks, because they were usually, around each other, was having rich whites tell them hey, you're better than them though.
Yeah.
They're suffering. They're going through all this. You're better than them, though.
But you're better than them.
Keep working with us. Keep working with us, and you'll eventually make your way up here. It all trickles down eventually, and it just is what it is. Why people feel like that, I don't know what it is. Because I need a psychologist.
Not even poor whites. Even whites that didn't have much interaction with blacks, even white people who lived in the North at the time, even though they didn't necessarily have slavery, they still did not want to interact with black people.
Right.
And they still benefited from it. And that's, I think Abe Lincoln said that we all have blood on our hands. And he meant that everyone has contributed to this.
I mean, because what Martin Luther King Jr.'s quote, the one about ignoring oppression. If you choose neutrality in the face of oppression, you've chosen the side of the oppressor.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's factual truth.
Calling out the bystander.
It's sorry, sure, you're not directly guilty, but the fact you're not doing anything.
I'm not trying to say that Abe Lincoln is the best person ever.
We know that. You don't gotta. Yeah, we know that. Don't worry about that. You gotta say that.
Well, I am a white person, so I just have to make sure that
it's true. Another good quote. This one's Franklin D. Roosevelt. This is one of my favorites, even though I don't trust presidents or give a fuck about them. But this one is just very, very true. all it takes for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing.
Yep.
Sadly. And that is part of the guilt I tend to feel myself.
Especially, I don't know. I feel like our generation and like this period in life has kind of been defined by like entertainment.
That's fair, yeah.
And like having the internet and having like so many different spaces that people can go. Like if you're interested in this niche thing, you can go here. If you're interested in this niche thing, you can go here. We have lost like a certain sense of like collectivism or communal purpose. And I think now, maybe not even more now, but definitely people act like the things that don't directly affect them, they aren't responsible for or responsible for saying anything. And
absolutely.
Yeah, it's a reminder that we are. And
no, do you realize how disconnected we are? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're fine. But I was, I don't know. I lost my train of thought, but.
My fault. No, it's just because you.
Yeah, fuck you, Mitch. Thanks
sorry.
for that.
No, you can. Yeah, it's fine. You can tell me that. I deserve it a lot of times. But no, it's a very valid point. The disconnect between people now and doing the things that are most beneficial to them is so vast, because in order to do the things that are most beneficial to you, you have to come into opposition with the powers that be that are making your circumstances what they are, where you're not benefiting yourself.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I mean when I say that? Did that make sense?
Yeah, I think the most important thing to say is that even if you feel like you are detached from this thing, you are part of a society that is making these rules for people. And in a lot of cases, like culturally or socially, you are benefiting from these harmful things, even if you don't know that you are.
Right.
So, everyone has blood on their hands. Everyone is affected. Whether that is in terms of, systematic racism or what's happening now with Roe v. Wade, like everybody is affected by that. And there's no way that you don't know someone who is affected by that, even if you're a guy. Like women make up 50% of the population. And even if you don't know anybody who's having an abortion, you know women who are now faced with this fear of this huge thing that might happen to them or might happen to their friend, or that they know is happening to other women in less fortunate circumstances.
Right.
Or like mothers who were, say, getting on well in their career and now suddenly don't have the choice to better their family in their mind because, they have to have this baby, whatever it is. Even if you are okay, like I live in New York, the likelihood of my rights to abortion being taken away is pretty low right now. But that doesn't take away my fear, because I know that I'm still in a greater system that is extremely fragile and is already hurting people.
Yeah.
And yeah.
It doesn't matter if you live this is the United States. It doesn't matter if you live in one city, and you're good. That could change at a moment's notice.
Yeah. And it could change.
It really could. Do you know how many states agreed to overturn it versus how many states didn't, man?
I don't know the specific numbers, but it's enough to be significant.
There's
I know
a list. The fact is the sides that overturned is higher than the sides that didn't. And I don't like those numbers because my brain goes into straight war, and then I think about the logistics of it and I was like, oh, they outnumber us now. Fuck.
Yeah.
Our cities might be bigger.
So
maybe we
are
can
you
balance
going
it
to
out.
be, now that you've created this law, are you going to be harder on fathers who aren't paying their
wait, men?
Yes.
You're asking them to be harder on men?
Who aren't paying their child support? Are you going to create harsher criminal laws for that?
What? Why would we do that? This isn't about controlling the men. What are you?
Yeah. Anyways.
Obviously, Sarah, have you not lived in this country long, sweetheart? All right, listen, dear, here's how it goes.
Also, and the sad truth of the fact is that one of the greatest oppositions to like women making the same as men is the fact that we are usually the primary caretakers of children. So even if we are, even if we start our career and we are making the same, which doesn't usually happen, but we are making the same as the men in our field. Mm-hmm. If we have to take off, a certain amount of months in order to recover and take care of this baby in its in that formative time, then when we come back, we're already behind. And now you are forcing women to have to do that. Because you're definitely not forcing men not to have sex. So
at all. And the annoying part about it is because it's all, to me, the reason I think they tend to do it is because it's a population control. The reason it's a population control thing. Well, not like control thing, but you want the bodies. You want to know, because every time, well, Sarah, every time a person in America is born, you get a social security number. Social security number isn't about, oh, hey, this is to make sure you get all your benefits. Social security number is your country being able to tell other countries, this is a person we have here, a body capable of making money for the country.
Yeah, but then wouldn't you want those bodies to have the best start in life so that they can be extremely productive citizens?
Sarah, of course you would. But the reality is we're not living in a society that's based on, hey, making sure our humans are the best they can be. We live in a society that's
almost zero social blankets. We do not care about the people in this country, nor do we recognize the fact that, we didn't all the successful didn't just raise themselves up from their own bootstraps. No, they come from generational wealth, and other people come from nothing, don't have the resources to even know what to do or how to succeed. And I think it is our responsibility to help give everybody a good start. Whether that is having, making sure that mothers have the resources to take care of their children, making sure that mothers have access to work, even while they're, like in other countries, even if you, like in the Czech Republic, it was like maternity leave was anywhere up to 3 years.
What?
Yes. And the more time you took, the less percentage of your paycheck you got, but your job, your position was always secure. You could come back to it. So I think my mom took,
and fair.
Yeah, my mom took 6 months. She got half her paycheck, and her position was secured. And she was able to be with us for that, time.
Oh, wow.
And they paid for childcare too. So she could go back to work and not just work to pay for childcare, because childcare is like a whole nother rent. It's, on the low end, it's like $600 a month.
Facts. Right.
So
on the low end. On the low end. But yeah, America doesn't value that. America values the profit margin. It's not really off topic. That's not how we work. But
scrub in, Logan.
You trying to tag me in?
Yeah, I'm trying to tag you
in. You got to tag in. Oh, Sarah, do you really have to go so soon?
Yeah, because I don't know anything about Mike Tyson, so we should probably shift topics.
It's not here to talk about Mike Tyson. It is actually to talk about masculinity.
I don't know shit about Mike Tyson. Y'all can talk about the Mike Tyson B suit.
I don't know anything about the Mike Tyson B suit.
You don't have to. It's not about Mike Tyson or the B suit. It's about masculinity. Toxic
Tell me
or
what
otherwise.
It's about.
So if you see the video, and Logan can show you the video, it's Mike Tyson dancing in a bee suit, he's like dancing, he's like, and he has his Mike Tyson accent, so he's like, I'm beautiful, and he's just dancing in a bee suit, he's like, I'm beautiful, I'm so beautiful, I'm so beautiful, but I guess with the, the little list he has, I'm so beautiful, beautiful, I'm so beautiful, and so, yeah, exactly, that makes you laugh, right? The reason I wanted to talk about it, because it made me so happy. I posted the video and I was like, I love this. I posted it on my Instagram story and I was like, yo, I love this fucking video of Mike doing that. Because you have to understand. So you don't know anything about Mike Tyson, but you don't need to know much.
I literally only know about the face tattoo.
And that's okay, because that means a different thing. But anyway, what all you need to know is Mike Tyson was pound for pound, very possibly like one of the greatest, if not the greatest heavyweight boxer that the world has ever known.
He hit people
really, really hard. No, but the thing you have to understand about Mike Tyson is Mike Tyson back in his early days when he was young was a killer. Wasn't no femininity, wasn't no, hey, I could, chill and be comfortable myself. Mike Tyson was a killer. And the reason he was like that is because he suffered, with his own masculinity growing up. He was bullied. He didn't feel as if he could be a man. And so he felt as if, as a lot of men do because of toxic bullshit, grow up thinking, oh, I have to be this rough, callous character capable of killing another man with my bare hands to be respected. That's who Mike Tyson back in those days thought he had to be. Mind you, he was one of the greatest boxers ever, always respected. People didn't mess with him because they thought he'd knock them the fuck out.
But I mean, he was literally just adapting to his social circumstances.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
That's why I had this conversation with my father. I was like, feminism isn't just about, helping women out. It's also beneficial to men because
Absolutely.
Toxic masculinity is also toxic to men. Not being able to acknowledge your emotions, not being able to be comfortable in yourself if you don't meet these often huge standards.
Yeah, trust me, I don't know about
that. That's a lot of pressure, and it's harmful to our men and boys. So
absolutely agree. It's the problem. Very possibly one of the biggest problems, because as we like to say, it's a man's world. We know about the patriarchy, and it stems a lot from that, from other men being like, oh, I have to be the most dominant. This is how you become the most dominant, and I'm going to raise the rest of you up like this so you don't cause weakness to me.
Obviously, it is harmful to women, but it's not only harmful to women. Yes. It is also harmful to men.
Yeah. I don't even know who I would say it's harmful to first. And that doesn't exactly matter.
Is important to do.
Yeah. I don't know exactly.
I don't think it's fair to conflate the experiences of
either or. Yeah. True. But
because they're both pretty bad, and I don't think it does anything to say, it's not a competition. Women's experiences in the patriarchy are worse. You could argue that. But it is also harmful to men and boys. This idea that you have to be tough, this idea that you can't show any emotion. A lot of guys feel like they can't have intimate friendships. And that also sucks for women, because then they are dumped with a lot of shit in their romantic relationships.
Back to the friend zone thing again.
Yeah, because these guys don't know how to communicate their emotions.
Yeah, or want to. So don't always think about it in terms of they don't know how, which is the case, but sometimes they don't even want to. That's the bigger problem to me.
Do you think it's easier for Mike Tyson to go outside the bounds of his masculinity because he knocks people out all the time? Because he has created that framework of toughness?
So here's the thing, and that's why I wanted to talk about it, because I don't know if I could answer that perfectly, because on one circumstance, yes, because there's always this joke and there's this meme. It's like Jackie Chan or Bruce Lee, and they're wearing these outfits which are fabulous, but they look like they would be considered more feminine wear, maybe a short cut blouse, and then people would make fun of what's he wearing? And the joke is, the meme is you could wear whatever you want when nobody could whoop your ass.
Yeah, I feel like I've noticed that a lot in Jason Momoa. He also, expresses himself with fashion, wears pink, wears scrunchies, other stuff. And other tough guys, I forgot his name. Anyways, it doesn't matter.
Other tough guys.
I don't know. I'm really horrible with celebrities. I don't pay enough attention. But I do feel like that is a common thing that's happening, that these men I have earned my right to express
be
myself.
Feminine.
Yeah. Not to be feminine. They're not being feminine. Okay. Cool. This whole dichotomy of this is feminine and this is masculine. When it comes to colors and fabrics and stuff, it's just stupid.
I argued that before, that clothes have no gender. I was explaining that to Lo, because they technically don't. They're clothes.
But
it doesn't matter which one you wear.
The right to express themselves however they want and to...
No, that's a valid thing.
Outside of the bounds of what the patriarchy has defined as what is feminine. And
right. No, that's a valid thing. So on one hand, I want to tell you, like, yeah, it is because they're tougher that they're able to do it. But on the other hand, like, it's not really like that, because when you're a tough dude, or when that's the perception you want people to perceive you as, like, you never want to do anything like that. In terms of thinking from their perspective, anyway, because it's like a mark of shame on your credibility. So I don't think he's doing that just because he's Mike Tyson. And that's what I wanted to talk about. I think he's doing that because Mike Tyson is in a place right now where he's finally able to feel comfortable with himself. The man had some deep-rooted problems. He used boxing as an outlet to get through his life, to make his career, make his way.
Are you saying that this is like, now is the first time that he is expressing that side of himself?
Well, it's not per se like his first time, but this is one of the most expressive times we've seen. And I love seeing how comfortable he is, because that's what I want for any person anywhere in the first place, but specifically men who have grown up in, like, you know, that toxic masculine type of environment. You know what I mean? I do think that outside of these, like, super tough guys, though, there is kind of an acceptance of,
like, men, like, being comfortable in their masculinity and exploring, like, androgynous styles and that
you
kind
mean
of thing.
Now, you mean?
Yeah, I think people like Harry Styles.
No.
Yeah, no, like Harry Styles and he gets hate, but he's still doing it. And
no, yeah, you're always going to.
Even like celebrities like Timothée Chalamet and so on, who is not like this, like, super strong, tough guy, is, you know, kind of...
Well, he's considered like a pretty boy, like, you know, the delicate pretty boy type deal, I guess.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. I wasn't trying to say that. I'm just like, that's how people look at him. I was just
saying there has been a trend of it being, like, okay and even kind of idealized for men to be a little bit more expressive, I think, maybe.
Well, in our day and age now, yes. Thank God. Thank God. May it continue to be so, because there's also a lot of pushback regardless. And in the frame of this, the reason I was also loving this video, because for Black men especially, our masculinity gets a little skewed as well, because now all of a sudden we're extra masculine on some level, especially when it comes to fighters.
But that's also a survival mechanism. That wasn't
and racism, obviously, because it's not true, of course. But so that's a lot for us too to see. So to see him at this point, and mind you, I'm used to seeing shit like that all the time. I love it. Like, it's fun. It's just cool. But to see him, because mind you, Mike Tyson became a symbol for that. Not that was his choice. My man was just wanting to be the best boxer he could be, which he did. But he became a symbol for that. Oh, that's the man I got to be. I got to be able to knock a motherfucker out. You got to understand, like, the typical trope of Black people in fighting.
Who's the best boxer in the world, like, ever in history?
Ever in history? You can't ask. I'm not.
Why not?
I'm not an enthusiast enough like that. But considered it's Mike, Muhammad.
Do you think Mike is better than Muhammad? Or they just have radically different styles?
They have radically different styles. Who would win in
a fight, though?
No one actually knows, because they have radically different styles. But they both were the type of
but you have an imagination, and you're pretty analytical.
And I'm imagining it right now. That's why I'm telling you, I don't know. Most people don't.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, you learned something today. No, most people don't. Because you see, in boxing, there's a few different styles. The typical one, the traditional ones, you have outfighting, which is the traditional boxing style. That was Muhammad Ali's style. What that consists of, the point of boxing is you hit the other person from a distance without being hit. That's the point of boxing. Mm-hmm. And then you have infighting.
And he was really good at that because he was so fast, right?
Muhammad Ali, he had long arms, and he had good footwork, and, you know, he'd put a good distance, and he wasn't afraid to take hits.
If you
and
then,
then,
know
like,
it,
set
I
up
know
his
very
face.
little about boxing,
yeah,
so
we can tell,
I will say stupid things.
You're about to get the work right. No, it's okay. I'm kidding. But then there's infighting, which was Mike Tyson's style. Now, infighting wasn't necessarily about staying on the outside. It was about getting your guard up and then being able to get into the other boxer's guard to deliver, like, super strong uppercuts or just getting in to get hooks faster? And stuff.
Like
it's not about which one is faster or not. That depends on the boxer. I just mean,
like, is that technique you take more impact, but you get more good ones in, so the fight ends faster? Because that's the only reason I would think that would be worth it.
No, it depends on you, because not every human body is the same. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
People have different length of arms, different length of legs. People's bodies are built different.
I think it's so brutal.
Well, you just don't like combat sports in general, huh?
I just don't think that people should ruthlessly beat each other up for no reason.
I wish I agreed with you.
I know. I think I'm the outlier here. I just struggle. Like I don't.
No, that's okay.
I don't get upset when people like it. Obviously, I don't. I would never want my kid or my partner or
and you would never put yourself in that situation.
To do that. I
get it. It's a different type of drive. It's a different type of feel. And don't get me wrong, on some level, I wish it wasn't there, but it is. But
I don't hate. I just don't like to see people in
get
pain,
beating the popes.
Yeah,
they agreed to it, Sarah.
I know that there's consent involved, but I still,
and that's the only thing for you. Like, soul. Thank God there's consent. No, I get it. But I'm sorry. Back to infighting versus outfighting. I couldn't tell you who would win. I'd put money on Muhammad just because he was literally one of the greatest to do it, fighting guys like Mike Tyson and somehow coming out on top. It was crazy.
What do you think that Mike Tyson would say? Has he ever spoken to it?
In terms of that one, I don't know. I don't think I've seen. But like Mike Tyson's not that type of dude. If I could come up with that
question, then anybody else.
No, anybody could. And I don't have an actual answer. I haven't seen him speak to it. And
I think I'll say this. There's I don't know where it's from, but I think in some sort of indigenous ideology, there's an acknowledgement of a feminine energy and a masculine energy. Right. And they're not only specifically for men and women. The idea is that these two energies intermingle within everybody. So some might have more, some might have less, and it's not necessarily defined by the body that you're in or the way that you might look aesthetically. So the way that masculinity should be performed is whatever way it naturally sits in your body. You should just be honest about who you are and not who you've
think you told need to be
or who you think you need to be. I don't see anything I'm not as a feminist and as a woman, I'm not anti-men or anti-masculinity. I think there's masculinity within me as well. So to hate that would also be to hate a part of myself. And I think anytime that we ask people to hate a part of themselves, it does more harm than good. Because that's just another form of destruction and self-destruction, which doesn't build anything.
No, not at all.
So the way to perform masculinity is just
yeah, no, I heard that. Yeah, Apollo.
It's just to be honest with yourself and acknowledge all parts of yourself, whether it's masculine or feminine or some or more likely actually completely a mix of the different forces that are there. Because that's who
we are as humans, which brings me back to Mike Tyson, and him doing that is him. And it takes, and the other lesson, not everybody gets comfortable with who they are, know who they are, or feel comfortable doing certain things. And it shouldn't,
and societal
but yes, it
pressure
does.
Is a huge factor.
Yes. All the time. And Mike is at a point now, and that's what I love it. He's this beautiful black man who put on for the culture in a way that we definitely needed.
Finding his peace. He's definitely
that's what the latter half of his life has been. Literally him just unlearning things. And he talks about that because he's done things like shrooms and stuff like that, and he's been expanding his consciousness.
Story arc. It's kind of like this beautiful You
don't even understand, Sarah, what that does for me.
And then I don't know. We do that in art and in movement a lot. We build up these structures and then we kind of dissolve them and break them down. And I don't know.
It's to build new, and it's a beautiful process. And that's kind of how it's emulating life in one capacity, because that's how life naturally works. There can be no creation without destruction, unfortunately.
And also, I think it's important for people to remember that, change and evolution is the natural order of life. So if you are clinging onto something, that's dangerous. You should be open to, things being challenged, to things changing. Mm-hmm. Doubt is a huge part of any ideology. And if you don't leave space for doubt, then I think that actually weakens your, whether it's your faith or your political stance or whatever ideology, morality you have. It's important to have space for that evolution, because we are always learning, not just like individually, like everything is always learning, evolving, and changing.
If you don't adapt, you die. You go extinct. I hate to say it like that, but
I think if you don't adopt, you die doesn't just apply to like physical death. I think if you don't adapt. If you don't adapt, there is like self-death too. Like you lose the strength of the thing that you like were so fervently holding on to. You lose something if you don't adapt. If you're not willing to
I think so.
Yeah. You become out of place in the new reality of things. So
that's the big one, because the fact is the world's going to keep moving whether you're there or not. Would you like to be there?
Yeah. And it's weird because I feel like in certain ways we're designed to resist change. And it's like you're just creating this friction with the way.
Well, there is a friction because you don't necessarily want to just absentmindedly accept anything.
That's not what I'm saying.
You know what I mean?
That's not what adaptability is about.
Exactly.
It's not that you throw yourself from thing to thing.
But that's what the resistance is.
Yeah.
That's what the resistance is.
You're constantly questioning.
Should I do this? Should I not?
The reason you say things, the reason you believe in things, and adjust where things need to be adjusted.
Yeah, and this isn't to say, because the process of change, especially when we speak in terms of like evolution, physically or otherwise, isn't something that happens at the drop of a dime anyway. Like, it does take time. There's a reason for that, because you want to make sure you're making positive change. Not all change is good. Yeah. And you'd like to make positive change, and that's not always going to happen, but that's what you're shooting for. We're imperfect beings. What are you going to do? You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I think it's also, they say that most people's like political views, belief systems, so on, they're formed in like kind of this stage in our life, like they're solidified like in your 20s or whatever. And then they don't really change. And I think that is kind of dangerous, because the world around you is going to change. And I hope that for myself, I don't get so stuck in things. Like, maybe in 30 years I listen back to this and I'm like, oh, I see that,
think about, hopefully,
maybe I need to amend this, or like now in this day and age, that doesn't really fit or whatever. I don't think that I'm always right, or that you have to be right, or that you should like stick to things just because then if you don't, then you have to acknowledge that you might have been wrong, or things might not be relevant anymore, and then that's scary.
No, yeah. I mean, that's for the record, to me at least, that's a dying thought in the framework as we're progressing, at least I hope. 'Cause
I don't know.
I think so, because you're speaking in terms, because that frame of thought is really from older generations who we're so scared of changing anything at all. But as we've progressed, as time's gone by, we've been able to do less of that and think, yo, I need to be open-minded more.
But the problem is shit like this happened. But you were talking about younger generations, though, because I don't think that's true. Because like the people who are in charge of everything right now.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying.
They are sticking to older ideas when the world is literally physically changing. No,
but
like
that's
we are
them.
Literally heating up.
I know. That's them. So that's why I think it's changing for a positive way.
Oil is the best thing. Like
I don't want to talk about
that to survive. Yeah. Okay. Anyway.
I don't want to talk about that. But no, but
I think
that's
it's very much alive.
That's why I say that, because it's like that older generation, yes, but as we progress and as new generations, I think that's something that's dying out. But of course, obviously, those people are still going to be there.
I don't know.
You can't get rid of the boomers yet. They just have to die. That is what it is, unfortunately. Like, that just is what it is. But any case, back to toxic masculinity. The reason it makes me happy is just because he is coming to that place. And that's the cycle I want for everyone, everywhere, anywhere. Doesn't matter whether it's Mike Tyson, doesn't matter whether it's you, doesn't matter whether it's some old woman in her 70s, myself. It's just people need to be able to get that comfortable with themselves, whether they're a tough ass fighter or not. You know what I'm saying? And I just love that for him in general, because like he really was that symbol for that. And he's not anymore.
Saying this, it's refreshing and kind of nice that this symbol of masculinity can
be this symbol of masculinity.
And I think
that's
it's
what
also,
the true symbol is.
Because he is part of an older generation, it is it's also good because it's it's not
Sarah,
just like
the generation he's from would literally clown him for that.
I know,
literally
so
be
that's
like,
great.
It's so
Mike.
And
I don't know much about you. I hear you're a great fighter, and you've got a pretty iconic face. I'm really happy that you're finding peace and able to express yourself.
Sorry, I don't. You're like, go Mike. Like, I don't know you well, but that is honestly a plus for me, because you're like, I don't know much about you. I don't know what's going on.
I hope that you.
But this is wonderful news.
Well, too.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Okay, well, maybe
I don't know
we work
about
on that.
Yeah,
anyways,
maybe we can work on that.
Mitch, how do you feel about celebrating the 4th of July? That's coming up pretty soon.
My birthday's in July. I don't know what else I'm celebrating.
Haha.
I mean, I might go out for the day because barbecues is nice. Barbecues ain't they nice? They ain't nice.
Yeah,
I love me a good barbecue. I love me a good plate. I'm
definitely going to take advantage of the fireworks and like just enjoying a day of frivolity.
What 4th of July?
Like, it's nice to be around people who are celebrating something. But
something, yeah, I don't know what they're celebrating, but it must be nice.
But the whole
4th of July, though, what's that?
Why? Can you explain to the general public why you don't feel like the 4th of July should be celebrated?
What's 4th of July? I'm sorry. To be honest with you, like, I'm just at this point now. And it's not even just for myself. It's just I look at my country. Mind you, I'm a proud American. I consider myself potentially one of the last true Americans who will probably ever live.
That's a bold.
I know that's a bold, but I do. We don't have time to get into that. I explain that later.
That's a lot to unpack.
I know it is, but that's legitimately how I feel. But otherwise, like, how am I gonna celebrate independence, our independence, which is supposed to be recognition of freedom, liberty, and pursuit of happiness in a country that constantly, not sometimes, not a little bit, constantly is like, I don't know what that means for some, but it's supposed to be with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah.
So it's just like,
we're not
there. And then it just happens to be on the week. And like, you're going to do this to women again.
It's not even that we're not there. It's that we are not even trying to be there.
We're not trying to be there.
Like
not in the ways we're supposed to be.
Yeah.
As a country that says that's what we're about. You know what I mean? Because you have to understand, not every country says that's what they're about. Like, they discuss it, but That's exactly what we said we were about. People didn't believe we would work out. They thought this great experiment would end in maybe like a decade or so. You know why it kept working out? Because people with good hearts, and then, you know, also people with fucked up ones.
No, Mitch, it's because it worked out because I think that people did think that that was true inside of the homogenous group that they felt it was in reference to.
Right.
You know, like, not just people with good hearts. Like, it worked because, you know, white men with property felt like, yeah, like, we are all part of this and we're free and we have independence and rights and so on. And that's why it worked for so long. It's now this like kind of melting pot situation that you have now, and arguably had then too, just didn't acknowledge those people as people. Now that those forces are in play and they're saying, hey, you know, what about this whole independence and pursuit of happiness thing? Then they're like, oh, that wasn't really supposed to be applied to you. So
it's like, well, so here's the thing, because I wouldn't necessarily say I disagree with you, but the reason I say that is because it's like, well, here's the thing for me, because like there's always been a phrase, and we as Black people like to use it a lot, like, white people are lucky we don't want revenge. You know what I mean?
I mean, I think some people do, and I think that's fair.
Some people do, and that's fair, but honestly with you, majority, Black folk, Black Americans, we're not those people. Some of us are, but majority, no. Which is why I say that. And when I say that, I don't just speak for Black people. You know what I mean? There are plenty of groups in this country of ours, and a lot of those people literally are just like, why is it like this? We don't want to be at odds with anyone. We don't want this to be an ugly place. And it's those people who continue to work through systems of adversity that don't benefit them. That's what I mean when I say that. And that's why I think, you know, our country is such a great place, because people like to think we're just these fucking gunslinging.
So you're saying we're great in spite of those things?
Well,
not because
we are
of those
great
things?
in spite of those things, not because, yes, of course. And that's not even something I'm really debating.
With saying that, because I think that it diminishes the impact of those things.
How do you mean? Could you elaborate?
I think that by just like saying, oh, you know, America is great, like, then you like fall into this like space where you're like, yeah, we do this and we do this, but then you're not acknowledging like all of these other things that are like very present and that need to be addressed.
Okay.
And I had a good professor who said like, you know, you can't know your country until you know others. And there's this idea of American exceptionalism that is like very prevalent in all of our society. And it's unpatriotic almost to acknowledge that other countries might be doing something better. That we don't have the perfect system, that we don't agree with certain things that are going on. Right. And so, you know, all of those things, that doesn't make me proud to be an American. And right now, honestly, I'm not extremely proud to be associated with this country that treats women this way, that treats people of color this way, that treats anybody who doesn't look a certain way, the way that they systematically treat them. So I don't think that is wrong. I don't think it's wrong to be critical of my country. I don't think it's wrong to say, you know what, we're not doing great right now. We're not doing great things. And I think that the things that we're doing wrong are stronger than the things that we're doing right at this moment.
No, I feel you. I'm not speaking to the country though, because, well, to me, America isn't, you know, the government, just the government, because I'm speaking to the people. I don't necessarily care about the people making the rules that make it this way. I'm speaking to the people like myself, like you, the people who, despite all this bullshit, continue to, and I hate to say it like this, but continue to think about the actual dream of the country, what it's supposed to mean. who continue to work towards that world rather
I don't
than
know
allowing
if
it to
I'm part
live.
of that, because part of me just like feels like giving up and like moving.
No, I mean, you're always going to feel like
else.
that. I know, but you're always going to feel like that, but you don't give into that, Sarah. You don't. Not because
yet.
you,
I mean,
you don't have
to. I could just move somewhere else. I don't think.
I don't blame you for that. But
I'm also like a weird case because I've 2 citizenships, 2 nationalities.
Yeah.
So I don't know. When I was young, I was proud because I lived in America. I was especially proud of the other one, because that was something that was special to me.
Yeah, it should be. Why not?
And from a very young age, I understood that there were big differences between, like I said, the fact that my mom got freaking 6 months of maternity leave and women in the US get at most like 6 weeks unpaid, which is crazy. So I was aware of those things from a really young age and didn't feel the need to blindly praise my country in order to be considered like a good citizen. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
Like I was always critical of my country. And I think that it is important to be, like I said before, it's important to have doubts. It's important to be critical in order to make sure that the thing itself is adapting and is being the best version of itself. And I don't think that it is. It's not up to scratch right now by any means. So yeah, I will hypocritically enjoy the festivities of the 4th of July. I do like fireworks. I know that they're bad for the environment.
We're not celebrating 4th of July this year, sir. Okay. We're going out. We're going to barbecues. We're enjoying ourselves because we deserve that. Yes. We're not celebrating 4th of July. Are you not understanding this?
You're right. I'm sorry.
Okay. We need to be on the same page about that. But we go into every barbecue and get in a plate, Sarah. Don't get twisted. But we're not doing that to celebrate 4th of July.
They don't usually have food I can eat, but.
No, bring some vegan options. My friend James, shit. Well, I'll have Logan blank on his name. He's vegan. He just brings options. He'll bring some burgers and you throw them on the grill. And if someone doesn't let you put it on the grill, then they're fucking... Stop taking cues from Logan. We don't need his help. We hijacked the show today, Sarah. Okay. Tell the audience that you have him tied up and working for you.
Yeah, he is tied up with
and doing whatever you say because we hijacked the show. Yeah. It's our show right now.
I just kind of hopped on because I was talking to Mitch because I haven't talked to Mitch in a while.
No, I know it has been a while. I wasn't trying to ignore you. Logan was like, I didn't want to know. I was just like, time because I had to go to work. Yeah.
And it was early. So you're a sleepy little man.
I was like, Sarah. Not right now.
Anyways, I just jumped on and then I saw some of the topics and I was like, I don't think that you guys should just be talking about this by yourselves.
Sarah, I don't even want you to even look at me and say those words because every single time I see you, I'd be like, all right, come get on the show because we need you on the show. And you'd be like,
anyways, I was really only going to stay
skip by that, right?
I was only going to stay for a couple of topics, but
I was going to just have Logan come on. If he had another pair of headphones, I was just going to have him come in and then we'd just do it. Huh?
Logan says we're supposed to wrap it up. I tried to do it.
It is
in a cool show way with the little finger twirl, but
good job. It was me who fucked that up, not you. You did good. So you get so much better at this every goddamn day. You need to just listen to me get on the damn show, but I ain't gonna do that with you right now because we had a good show. I like the topics. Yeah, I know, sir. I'm not gonna do it in front of the audience right now because
you know what? I am like dessert, as in like dessert isn't great if you have it every night. But then sometimes you get it and you're so thankful for it. And I want to make sure that
I don't know, sir. I like my dessert every night. Ain't no issue for me. I think a lot of people be like, yo, I don't know what you talk about, Sarah. You supposed to have dinner after you supposed to have dessert after
every
dinner.
Night? That's a lot of sugar.
It depends on how much you have and what you're having.
Okay, fine. I'm like vacation. You appreciate it because it comes, because it's special, not because I don't know, but I kind of
I'm not going to do this with you right now, Sarah.
Whatever, I can't find a good analogy, but we're supposed to wrap up the show.
Yeah, I heard. I'm not doing it because Logan said so. I'm going to do it when I feel like it. Okay? We're going to wrap up when I feel, but yeah, for time's sake, we're going to have to. But anyway, I'll do it. Don't worry. Oh, you're going to do it? You know how to do you know how to do that now too?
Yeah, I'm taking charge. Shit. Is there anything you want to leave the people with, Mitch?
You can be friends with people you're sexually attracted to, but you have to be mature and you have to respect the people first and foremost, is what I've learned. That's how that works. Roe v. Wade being overturned is an egregious disservice to Americans and to American women everywhere. Shame on you. I don't care how you feel about the babies. I get it. I honestly do. You don't understand how much I get it. Fetuses. But shame on you. Shame on you. And shout out to Mike. Well, I'm just glad to see you happy, prospering, and showing men what masculinity really is.
Prosperous?
Did I say prosperous or prospering?
Prospering.
Don't interrupt me right now.
Right? I'm sorry.
If I said prospering, don't interrupt me right now, girl. I'm on roll right now. No,
you're right.
But shout out to Mike Tyson, because, you know, masculinity isn't about a tough facade. It's about you being you and being a healthy you for those around you.
Mitch, you're so good at wrap-ups. You really speak to all the topics.
I'm a talent. I'm a talent, Sarah. I'm trying to get you on game. I'm trying to get you on level. You just won't trust me.
Anyways, the only thing I want to leave the people with? The only thing I want to add to that, because I think you did a really good job, is that I know that it's a really hard and hurtful time around us. It's okay to be processing that still. And also that it is important to evaluate and criticize your beliefs and the things that are going on around you, to make sure that I lost all of my words.
What was I going to say? Take your time, get them back.
Yeah, just to make sure that it's the most honest version of those things.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agreed. No. Well said.
And yeah, it's a hard time. It only happened a few days ago. Yeah. And again, for the women in my generation and some of the generations above me and below me, this was our whole life. It was kind of, we took it for granted. Mm-hmm. So seeing it gone feels, it just feels like it, like, how could it happen?
Right. We're going to see how the next few years are, because that may be a feeling multiple margins of society start
My hope is that it'll rally people to vote and to try to change things.
Truth. No, truth. And I hope I'm going to talk about next episode why I said I feel like one of the last true living Americans. Yeah. But we'll get into that.
We didn't have time for that. No, I didn't even know what to think about that. So.
No, it's okay. I'll get into it. But yeah. But anyway,
write that down,
well said,
because you guys do that a lot. You guys say you're going to talk about things next episode, and then you don't.
I'm going to text it into the chat right after this.
Okay.
But in any case, that was a good wrap up, Sarah. So let me do this part.
Sure.
So as always, y'all remember, if you like the show, share the show, tell your friends about the show. If you don't like the show, send it to your enemies, tell people anyway, share the show. We need y'all help getting the word out. We know y'all like the podcast. Y'all can keep pretending and acting like y'all don't like the podcast. We know y'all like the podcast. So, give us a little help, share the show, make sure we spread this awareness around. People need to be hearing certain things we have to say. And in a capacity where it isn't so formal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so please do that for us. We'd really appreciate it. Say bye to the people, Sarah.
Bye, people. Enjoy your random barbecues and fireworks that happen to be this weekend.
Sarah. Exactly. That a girl. Now she getting it, y'all.
Ew, don't say that, girl. I reject that.
Okay, that's fine. She's rejected it, so I can't say that no more.
Okay.
But have a good, because we shot early day, so have a good morning, have a good afternoon, have a good night, have a good life. Sarah said goodbye. I'm going to say
everybody.
Peace too. Bye.
See you.